Tour.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world, Tottenham On Tour family. I'd like to welcome you back to what is episode 9 of my short video series. So it's time to sit down for 15 minutes and talk about all things Tottenham. So before we get into the video and before I introduce my fantastic guest I brought on to co-host the show with me, just wanted to tell you what the show is going to be about. So as you know from the title, this is just a quick update on all the transfer business that's been surrounding Tottenham. And you may be wondering, hang on, it's only March, Adam. Have you lost all sense of time and stuff? Actual fact, I haven't. So I haven't gone insane yet. But the reason why I'm doing it in this way is because, as we all know, it's the international break. So there's not an awful lot going on in club football. So I did some research and I decided, you know what, to hell with it. Let's do an all experiment for the channel and for your entertainment, of course, and just put all the topics that I could find about Tottenham that I could find into just one whole video, and we can just talk about them. Some of them are more, let's say, grounded in reality than others, and one or two of them are a bit bizarre, particularly the last one. So I would recommend you stick around to the end of the video to watch me and Brian Dagul talk about out that last point. Speaking of Brian Dagul, I just want to formally welcome him to the show, and I need some help doing these types of videos, and no better man to help me today than this man right beside me, aka the A-Tech Daniel Levy. So Brian, how you keeping, man?
I'm keeping good, brother. It's good to do these kind of shows because once again we can hear that we're leading the race. We're leading the race, but when the race comes to it, we never win it. We never win it.
Crash and burn all the time, man.
Exactly. It's just the tortoise and the hare story where we start off as the hare and then the tortoise will come and overtake us right at the end because they'll offer real money. But yeah, it's looking forward to getting into this. But before we get into this, obviously, Adam, we needed to mention, if you look in the top right-hand corner, this show is brought to you by Manscaped. And obviously, we have our month promotion with them where you can save up to 20% or save 20%, not up to, you will save 20% and free worldwide shipping by using the code TidyTots on manscaped.com. So please go and use the code because believe me, they're game changers. It's fantastic, the kit, and thank you, Manscaped.
Exactly. So yeah, we've been dying for a clean shave, if you know what I mean, all you have to do is put that code in below and you get free shipping and everything. Lads, you don't want to miss up on this opportunity, believe me. So anyway, let's get just straight into the video. And the first player who we'll talk about is Tammy Abraham, who we've been linked with for a bit now. I only saw rumours about this a few days ago. You know, unless you've been living under a rock, Harry Kane has been crying out for a partner or a partner or even a backup striker, and we all have been doing that for ages now, years even. And year after year, we get linked with all these players, and of course, none of them surfaces. The most recent one being Dusan Vlahovic. We all know how talented he is, and unfortunately, his talents are being used elsewhere. But I just want to touch on Tammy Abraham. Well, he's not at Chelsea anymore, but that's where he really rose to prominence during that season, of course, where they had the transfer ban slapped on them. They couldn't buy any players, so they had to bring some up from the academy and stuff. Players like Tammy Abraham basically shone on, and shone quite well, I have to admit. But since then, and he fell off at Chelsea, and they had to get rid of him, and now he's
at Roma.
He's at Roma. Thanks, Brian. And we've been linked with him. Brian, do you honestly think that this is a good enough player for us to be linked with? And do you think that there are better strikers out there that we could be trying to get in?
Do you know what? It's WrestleMania week, so let's see how many WrestleMania puns I can or wrestling puns I can get in. And the first one will be from Daniel Bryan. No, 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 no. No way. I mean, he left Chelsea because of lack of game time. He left Chelsea because he knew Romelu Lukaku was coming in. No way do I want him. And I'm sick and tired, and I do mean sick and tired, of taking sloppy Chelseas from second. Sloppy Chelseas from second? Sloppy seconds from Chelsea. I'm done with it. Listen, Conte, yes, he's no sloppy second, and he's not. I'm sick and tired of the Villas-Boases, the William Gallases. Even though I loved him and I wish we had him earlier, the Idaho Johnsons loved him when he was at Spurs. So, but I'm sick and tired of going back and forth for ex-Chelsea players that are near the end of their career. Right, Tammy Abraham isn't. He is just not Tottenham Hotspur material, and I want him absolutely nowhere near the football club apart from in the away dressing room. That's it.
Yeah, because he's worth like 45 million euros. I mean, let's be real now. We're notorious for not spending any more than possibly 35 million euros, but
Yep.
that would be too much for a player even like Tammy Abraham. Now, the thing is, he is a Premier League proven player, but at the same time, he's fallen off. Like, just because he's Premier proven doesn't mean that he will come back to the Premier League and flourish, especially in a system as unique as Antonio Conte's. So there's really no guarantee there. And if I was Paratici, I wouldn't take that risk.
You say he's around £45 million.
Yeah.
We kind of went through this with right backs, where we had 50 million for Walker, and we kept trying to find cheap replacements, and we've now spent way over 50 million trying to replace him. Now, I'm not saying this guy is coming. Tammy Abraham, 45, 30 million extra, Alfie Haaland. You get Alfie Haaland, you know you're sorted for goddamn years and years and years and years and years. You buy Tammy Abraham for 45 million, it doesn't work out. And then you're looking for another striker. And it's another one that you're not getting your money back on. So, like I said, this isn't saying that we should go for Haaland as much as I'd love us to. It's just unrealistically not going to happen because of where we are and who our owner is. But when you talk that money at 45 million, there are better strikers. And obviously, I haven't really had a broad scale at the free transfer market. I think Belotti from Torino is going to be on a free. I'd rather put that in than spend 45 million on Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, because you'd be saving 45 million, especially if the person who just mentioned is on a free, like, so why not? And you know what? One player who, thankfully, if we did get him, would cost less than half of that would be this man right here, De Vrij. Now, he's a Dutch player who's currently playing in Serie A, and he's the first team starter for Inter Milan. And this is the most interesting bit. He's a centre back. So let's say theoretically we go out and we get him. I think that he would be a replacement for Eric Dyer, because there's absolutely no way in hell that anyone in this club would be stupid enough to try and replace Romero, because he is almost by quite a mile our best defender. I know Dyer has been very good this season, but Romero has been in a class of his own sometimes. So realistically, he'd replace Dyer, but there is one or two problems with this potential transfer. And so even though we have been linked to this man, but like we've been linked with half the football world. Newcastle United, the world's richest club and the world's richest mid-table side, are now in for him, and he is most definitely in their price range. You know, they're flipping 3 trillion, like unlimited cash spend. So they could go after him and they could snap him up in a heartbeat. And also, our owner, being who he is, would be harder to budge as well, and so he would take longer and wouldn't be wanting to spend as much as Newcastle owner. So we'd be up against it if we're going to try and get De Vrij, but he is a proven player as well, and I think he would make a good partner for Romero. But question I want to ask you, Brian, is that do you think that he would significantly improve the back line, or do you think that we should go after someone better and someone possibly even younger as well, so we'd have more time with them?
This one has to get done. Has to. Daniel Bryan again. Yes. Or Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, hell yeah. This has to get done. Not only does the player know Conte and Conte know the player, he's won with Conte. He is a proven player. And yes, Newcastle may be interested, but I think the lure of working with Conte again, who won him a league title, and working in the Premier League with Tottenham, this is why you have people like Paratici. So when there are people nosing about, you try and get in there first. And you try and get the deal done under wraps before anyone knows it's done, and go, you missed your chance, it's done, it's dusted, see you later. This one has to get done. This is what Conte wants. We've all been talking about on all the channels, and I've said it as well. If Conte says he wants De Vrij, which we know he does, go get him De Vrij. Don't get him a potential De Vrij, not a cheaper version of De Vrij. Not this guy does everything De Vrij does, but isn't De Vrij. You don't have his mentality. Conte knows this player, lock, stock, and effing lock. So this is a absolute must do deal. Must.
Agree. Like, yeah, it's a good point that you brought up the fact that he's won with Conte as well, so he'd know him well and he would adapt quickly to a system like Bentancur and Decky. Now, he has have had a bit of a knack this season for picking up injuries, so do you think that's concerning, or do you think that's just part and parcel of the game?
It's part and parcel of the game. Listen, I believe he's 30 odd now. It happens, and also that could be down to the medical team. That could be down to the kind of training that Inter Milan have him to do. Tottenham can identify something. Look, you got to, when you talk about training, the Inter Milan medical team, which was Conte's medical team we have now, saw in Lukaku that something was wrong and they changed his diet, and boom, off he went to the races. And he said he'd never felt so fresh or so fit or so sharp. So it could be something like that. So I don't really read a lot into that.
All right, that's fair. Now, the next point that we're going to talk about is, quite frankly, one word to describe it is bizarre. And I have to bring it up here. So, the manager of Rennes, and if you think, hang on, that name sounds familiar, it is familiar because we played them earlier this season in the Europa Conference League. Now, that's stuck in your mind for a minute, because apparently there are a few rumours going about the place that we are linked with this manager. Let me put this into context now, because quite frankly, I've been trying not to kill any of my own brain cells, even just looking at some of the articles written about this. Apparently, despite us, Tottenham Hotspur, one of the top 6 clubs in England in the English Premier League, with one of the top 3 best managers in the world, and possibly one of the best managers of all time, we're linked with a manager who managed a team in the Europa Conference League, despite having a manager who has won multiple trophies with Champions League regulars. Brian, can you possibly make sense of this?
Well, you tried to make context. I'm going to try and make context out of it. This is just typical media bullshit. Why on earth are we looking at managers or even being rumoured with managers when we have one of the best 3 managers in current world football? This is an absolute nonsense. This is petrol to the fire of Little Kane and Manchester United with transfer. It's an absolute load of bollocks. And the person that broke this story should do what The Undertaker did and put his journalist career rest in peace, because this is just the biggest load of nonsense ever.
Man, you were on fire with these wrestling puns. So back to the players now, and this is kind of like a more grounded in reality one, thank God, away from the fairy tale media world. So Memphis Depay, now he's an experienced player, 28 years old, and he's at currently one of the biggest teams of all time, Barcelona. He could cost between 42 and 50 million pounds for us to buy, and of course, because we're talking about him, we've been linked. But one of the main things about Memphis Depay is that he is a striker. Am I right, Brian? Is he a striker?
He can play on the wing. He can play basically anywhere up top.
Up top, yeah. Say if, again, being theoretical, we bought him. Just imagine a partnership of him and Harry Kane. Now, you have to wonder where Son would fit into that system, but I'm sure Conte could adjust it a bit to make sure, or him and Kulusevski can be on the same team as Kane and Depay. But I'm probably getting ahead of myself here because, 42 million pounds, it sounds unrealistic for us, but you never know. We just have to let the Don Paratici cook. He can also play as a left winger, and I actually hope if we bring him in, he doesn't play in that position because we have a good enough player there. Actually, I've just thought of something, Brian, and this is completely new. Given the rumours that Reguilon is probably going back to Real Madrid, if we got to buy in by some miracle, do you think he should be a replacement for Serge Reguilon?
No. What I will say is I wanted this player before Manchester United got him. And as Kurt Angle would say, it's true. It's true. So this guy has a lot of injuries. You spoke about De Vrij. This guy has a lot of injuries. But again, this position is a position that we have so much covering. And once again, we're doing it to ourselves in the rumours. He can play where Lucas Moura plays, where Bergwijn plays, where Son plays. We've still got Lo Celso coming back and Dembele coming back. I think he would be a good player at Spurs, but I think it's the wrong time. But if he came, I'd be happy because he has got the alternative to go up top to assist Kane. So this player excites me, but I just think we have too many people. Unless we have a huge clear out, then I don't quite get it. But if he came, I wouldn't say no. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. But to be honest, given the team we have and how well they're doing at the minute, I don't think we need a huge team clear out. And plus, our depth in numbers, as we keep saying many times, we can't really afford to have a huge clean out with the lack of players we have, especially since the likes of Scarlett and White have to be on the subs bench every game just to make up the numbers. But interesting what you said about Bergwijn there, Brian. The fact that Memphis Depay is Dutch and he'd be playing with Bergwijn in the international team, I think that would add to the team chemistry if we did bring him in. And especially if Stevie B got more game time, I think think that would be a good partnership. Just to have the two of them playing in the same team, I think would be an advantage for us going forward.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Now, yeah, speaking of partners and speaking of people from the same national teams who would know each other well, I'm going to bring up our next point here. A player called Matthias Svanberg, who is Swedish. And I'm sure all of you know about the absolute baller of a Swedish player we have in our team at the minute. So to have two of them in the team would quite frankly be just an absolute joy to see. Now, just a few fun facts, if you can call them fun, about this lad. 23 years old. So I was talking about youth earlier. Both Tottenham and Manchester United are interested in this player. And of course, like I just mentioned a few seconds ago, he knows Kulusevski relatively well because they're both playing for the Swedish national team. And if you were to go after him, he would cost around £15 million, which I think is more than gettable. And just last point, he's a central midfielder, but he can also play as a CDM and a CAM. Brian, do you think that this guy is someone who we should be going after, or do you think it's a waste of time because we already have a Swedish baller in Decky?
I'm so telling Mark Swift to watch this video because he knows I've been waiting to get two wrestlers out, and I know the last one, so that's where he comes in. But now I get to use some of my hero, some of my obsession, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. What's his name? What's his name again?
Svanberg.
It doesn't matter what his name is. I have not. Who in the blue hell is this guy? I've never heard of him. Never ever heard of him.
Never heard of him. You know, that is not a good sign, and then because that kind of kicks me up the arse because I said he's a young prospect, you know, trying to make myself sound unknowledgeable. Yeah, but also I was thinking about this. If we've never heard of him, it means he can't be all that good. But I mean, the only advantage to bring him in would be the fact that Kulusevski has a teammate, has, you know, a pal with him in the team. But also, I mentioned that he can play in the central midfield, or at best going forward, maybe a CAM. If we brought him in to play in the central midfield, what the hell would happen to Skip? Because we would probably be bringing this guy in to play alongside Kulusevski on that wing next to Benton. So is that worth getting rid of who you believe is in our best player so far this season?
So listen, when it comes down to me not knowing who he is, doesn't mean they're not a good player. I don't know what league where's he currently playing?
He's a first team starter for Bologna.
Okay, so I don't. I must confess, funnily enough, I don't watch a lot of Bologna. So it's like a lot of people. I was waxing lyrical about Dele Alli when we signed him because I've been watching. There are people that watch, like I'm sure Iggy will know a lot about this kid. There's other people that will know a lot about this kid, and obviously it's hard to watch every single game of football and know every single player. Listen, as Bob Spurs, aka Superman, says, if Conte has ironed him out and said I want him out, he hasn't ironed him out, sorry, because if you ironed him out, you've knocked him out. If Conte has marked him out and identified him as a potential player, then fair play, all good. I just can't really comment on him because I know absolutely nothing about him. But then again, I didn't even know who Bentancur was, and look at that.
Exactly. Same here. And I will tell you one worrying stat about him, though. In 28 appearances, he's only got about 2 assists. So I think if we were to get him CM, but we have Højbjerg and Skip already there, I think there are a bit more pressing issues in other areas in the pitch where we need to address. But you never know, this guy could be one for the future. And I know you absolutely hate hearing those words, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Now, I remember we got Matty Sarr coming as well. So there's another midfielder coming in.
Yeah, out of all these players, this is probably the least likely, I think. Well, one of the least likely. Actually, no, the least likely, and I hope it's the least likely, is about to come up. I'm going to bring it up right here. And for you watching this video, no, your eyes are not deceiving you. You didn't wake up late and you're seeing things. This is an actual rumor that burst onto the scene today. I saw it on the OneFootball app, and I know OneFootball get their sources from all over the place. Brian, I know we mentioned this in the podcast last night, and we were so quick to just dismiss it and say, nah, Kane to United, it's ridiculous. But in all honesty, just when you think it couldn't get worse or more stupid, apparently, Manchester United, in a desperate attempt to get Harry Kane, are going to offer Tottenham Hotspur a swap deal with none other than Anthony Martial, Mr. Inconsistent himself. I mean, I just want to see you tear this apart, Brian, because honestly, this is just ridiculous.
Okay, so if for Mark Swift, and Mark Swift will know exactly what I'm talking about when they say this. If this goes ahead, All I will say is Daigle 316 says I just would leave his ass will not actually just be a statement. I don't care when it, or I do care when it happens, but if this happens and I woke up one morning or went to bed one evening and I heard that Kane has gone that way and we've got money and Martial gone that way, within 48 hours I am on a plane. Within 48 hours I am on a plane. And I will not leave until Levy goes.
Oh,
I will
legend,
not leave.
honestly.
I will not leave until Levy goes. Listen, this one we wanted him, funnily enough, when he went to United. But
Yeah,
funnily
we were
enough,
after
we
him at
wouldn't
one
pay.
stage.
We wouldn't pay the money. Then he's been shit. But now there's rumours, and these rumours won't go away with Martial. This comes up every year. I think there's a lot more to this than just a rumour. Not that this deal, but anti Martial keeps coming. If we sign anti Martial, even if we sign him, take Kane out of it. Take Kane
Yeah,
out of it. If anti Martial puts on a Spurs shirt, you will see me within 48 hours of him putting on that shirt, and I will not go until Levy's gone.
absolute
I will
legend.
not leave until Levy's
You
gone.
and many
This
others.
will this will just underline everything about this direction that this club is going, buying players that cannot cut it in the Premier League, that have not made it, that have flopped, that you could have got in his when we tried to get him with Poch, and who knows what Poch could have done with him. Maybe he could have turned out different. But if Anti Martial comes within, honestly, where's the Spurs shirt? I see a press conference, Anthony Martial holding a shirt. You'll see Daigle 316 within 48 hours. Simple as everything here out the window till Levy goes. Because this deal and this player is absolutely no. Like I said, Daigle 316 said, I just wouldn't believe his ass. Will actually not just be a saying, will be a fact.
Yeah, I think you and many others in this Tottenham fan base would like to join you on that, myself included, to be honest. But I mean, even Martial himself, from the sound of things, he doesn't want to go back to the Premier League. Like, he is done. And he'd much prefer to go to either an Italian or even just stay in Spain and look for another club, or just like stay at Sevilla, where he has just not been able to cut it. He's made 5 appearances only, and he's supposed to be on loan. When a player goes on loan, and they're supposed to, like, kickstart their career or maybe get them back on track, and he's
Yep.
just not been doing that for like whatever reason. I'm going to make possibly a bold statement here. If Man United were truly dead serious about getting Harry Kane and making a swap deal with any of their players or involving any of their players, you would want to get the only player in that Man United squad that is even close to the level of Harry Kane and has been close to his level this season, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo. Offer us a swap deal with him, yeah, you'd have some respect, but even then, I wouldn't want Ronaldo over Kane because Ronaldo isn't getting any older. Kane is younger than him, and he's just been playing better for the past while now in the season, and that's just a fact. So, no, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. We'll stick with Harry Kane, and you can stick with we're trying to stay out of the Europa Conference League spots, if you don't mind us saying.
Let's analyse this. Let's take Martial away. If
Yeah.
Kane to United became a deal, there are players I'll take on swap. Dean Henderson would be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's not a big transfer amount, but it's a player Tottenham need to sort out for when Lloris's contract goes. So I would take him in a heartbeat in a swap deal, but it would need to be like 140 odd million, or no, a bit less now because 150 million was like, well, whatever it is, you know what I mean? A
Yeah.
fraction of like a majority cash Dean Henderson. Obviously, up until what happened, there's a certain forward I would have taken, but now I don't want to see anywhere ever near Tottenham. I'm not even going to mention his name, but I would have taken him, but don't want him anywhere near the club. Um, but yeah, I would take Dean Henderson. I think there, when you look at some of the United younger players, there are some players there that you could probably tie in that I would take in a
Mm.
deal if it came down to that. But I don't think it's going to come down to that. I would love to see Dean Henderson at Spurs. Period. I want him as Hugo's replacement. I think he's the ideal candidate. Young, English, a lot going for him. Was brilliant at Sheffield United. But yeah,
Honestly, I think though, even for our board standards, this would be like one of the all-time lows in terms of player transfers. So I really can't see it happening, especially since Martial like doesn't really want to come back to the Premier League. But I mean, you never know in the world of football; anything can happen. And you know what? I think we'll leave it there, Ryan. So thanks a lot for coming on and helping me out with this. I mean, I said I needed help. My God, I've gotten some brilliant help off you today. And also, that was a great insight as well about Henderson. Also, I think that would be an ideal swap. But also just an ideal transfer. I mean, forget the swapping. Like, it's great to do these videos. It was like you said earlier. And so, do you have anything that you want to say as a final word?
Yeah, let me just do some warm-ups.
Actually, you know what? Since you're going to do the warm up, I suppose I should get this out of the way first of all. Just want to remind everyone to like and subscribe, share the video with your friends or anyone who you think might be interested, and also don't forget the fact that we are sponsored by Manscaped. 20% off. Just input the code TidyTot and free shipping, lads. You can't ask for a much better deal than that. And you know what, Brian? I'm going to let you off with your iconic phrase.
Yep. And as always, Levy out.
Support for Tottenham On Tour is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code TidyTot at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. So if you're like me and you like to keep your junk tidy, this is the package for you. Ever get a cut on the nut? Or maybe you're like Dagul and you struggle to hear? For us, these tools help manage something we all struggle with in some way. My girlfriend's pretty pleased with the results, let me tell you. It's been quite good. Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived. It arrived a couple weeks ago for us, some of us at different times, and it's been a game changer for me. Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 and the nose hair trimmer, crop preserver, ball deodorant, crop reviver, toner, performance boxer briefs, which are fantastic, incredibly comfortable, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say the greatest ball trimmer ever. It's the 4th generation trimmer featuring a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof as well and is also has a 400K LED spotlight you need for a more precise shave. Incredibly useful, let me tell you, in certain situations. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess in the bathroom floor as well. You thought that was good, of course, but you want to take your grooming to the next level, and Brian will. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof as well, which provides proprietary skin-safe technology too, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. Their crop trimmer ball deodorant and crop reviver ball toner, which change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me, when I say this, fellas, your balls will thank you. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts in the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag, which is fantastic. Bring your comfort in boxers to another level. It's time to take care of yourself. So go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code TidyTot at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code TidyTot. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And I have to say, I've been using this for a couple of weeks now, both for my nose and for my nuts, and it has been fantastic. It's very comfortable. There's some great tools on it. If you don't like it cut down to the bone, literally, you can put some clips on it to manage the length and how close it gets to you and how comfortable you are with it. But absolutely fantastic stuff. The Manscaped.com. Cheers.
Tottenham On Tour.